Now that's what I call a tease. You're going to get the first word on this next subject.
I am.
Ready to get into it?
Bring it.
All right. So earlier this week, Max had a final take where he had some very complimentary things to say about Aaron Rodgers. Let's take a little look back.
Basically, the Cowboys ran into the best player on earth by such a measure, it's really not fair to compare other players to him. That's what happened to the Cowboys.
So, Max says Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league, and it isn't even close. Lucky for us, we've got 4 of the best quarterbacks in the league playing on Sunday. Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Big Ben Roethlisberger. Will,
yes.
You know who Max has the most faith in? Who do you have in the most faith in of the 4 that are playing on Sunday?
Well, I don't get distracted by shiny things. I don't have short-term memory. I'm not a prisoner of the moment, as apparently Max Kellerman is. I mean, the quarterback that I have the most faith in is the one that everyone should have the most faith in, because he's proven it over a long period of time, because he has the hardware, the statistics, every single objective metric to prove it. The quarterback you have the most faith in is Tom Brady. Now, I understand you have some personal beef with Tom Brady.
No personal beef.
Axe to grind.
No personal beef. I spit the truth.
You spit the truth by undercutting the greatest quarterback of all time.
I said he's the greatest quarterback of all time. How's that undercutting him?
Because you have prematurely put him into the retirement home. Because you've prematurely anointed Aaron Rodgers over him. Because Aaron Rodgers. Look, Max, let me tell you something. As somebody who watched that game with a broken heart, as somebody who watched.
You wish you were playing Tom Brady and won.
Somebody who had my hopes crushed by a very, very great quarterback.
If Tom Brady was on the Green Bay Packers that day instead of Aaron Rodgers, the Cowboys win, and you know it.
Stop it, Max.
Listen, Aaron, I'm baffled by this. It is so obvious to anyone with eyes and a brain. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, if you're isolating quarterback value, you're taking the coaches away, the offensive line away, the receivers, the defense.
Tom Brady played with a makeshift offensive line for years. Makeshift
with
backup.
Bill Belichick. And by the way, you take all that away, there's not a single talent evaluator who will take Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is basically
more athletic, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is basically, look, the Dan Marino versus Joe Montana argument was the same as Peyton Brady. And Brady eventually became Montana with the stats to back it up, right? And so, boy, that's an unbeatable argument. Let me tell you who Aaron Rodgers is. If Dan Marino had an even higher football IQ, had already won a Super Bowl, was much more mobile, there'd be no argument Montana or Marino. Yeah, everyone would say, obviously, Marino. That's Aaron Rodgers.
You know, the promo that runs for First Take is that Stephen A. tells us the way it might be and you tell it the way it is. But every argument that you make is based and predicated upon ifs, ands, and buts. If Marino had a Super Bowl...
Right, he'd be Aaron Rodgers.
The answers are, Stephen A., the answers are here, not in that paper. They're right here. Let me help Max out, and then we'll deal with you. If Marino won a Super Bowl, if Marino did this...
Right. Aaron Rodgers did all those things. That's what I'm saying.
1-4.
Right.
Brady has 4.
He's not
Rodgers
on the Bill Belichick Patriots.
4-1.
Right. When
it counts as something.
When Tom Brady went down, Matt Castle won 11 games. That happened. That occurred. Matt Castle won 11 games on a Bill Belichick.
Yeah, guess what? Bill Belichick was also the coach of the Browns. You can't use that argument.
Sure you can.
Of course. You know what Bill Belichick does? He helps him exploit defenses. He's a defensive coach.
And what about Matt Castle? You haven't answered that. How did Matt Castle win 11 games? Why were they 3-1 without Brady this year?
Because he comes up with a new game plan.
Whose system?
In Bill Belichick's system.
Okay. Just check.
His passion, his anti-Tom Brady passion is...
He ain't Bill Belichick.
Your anti-Tom Brady passion is rivaled by only a few things. Let me tell you this. You are a prisoner of the moment of Aaron Rodgers, who's playing the game at a very, very high level. It has blinded you to the fact that it's in the same season that Tom Brady goes 28 touchdowns to 2 interceptions.
Whose record did he break?
A historical rate.
Whose record did he break?
Does it matter? It's broken.
Nick Foles' record.
It's broken.
He broke the great Nick Foles touchdown to interception.
Max, you have the moment.
Ratio.
I have the statistics. I have the rings. And by the way, I have the intangibles. Read Ginny Vrensis this week in Sports Illustrated. What Tom Brady does, that what makes him great, is that he'll listen to Bill Belichick. He'll subject himself to the butt chewing. He'll be just another guy on that team. And you know what that does? Force everybody on that team to be better. Aaron Rodgers
is pointing to Tom Brady's greatness. I'm not denying
Aaron Rodgers draws up a schoolyard.
Can I ask one more question before we get Stephen A. involved? How was Aaron Rodgers when Jordy Nelson was down last year?
He had the worst season he's had in a long time, and he was still pretty good.
He didn't have one receiver.
And he was still pretty good. By the way, I can find worse seasons by Tom Brady that he's authored in his career than last year's Aaron Rodgers season.
Was it one of those ones when he wasn't winning the Super Bowl?
Anybody that steps up. Stephen A.
Couple of things to point out here. First of all, Mollywood clearly wants to debate a little bit more. I have no problem with it whatsoever. I'm looking forward to you inviting yourself in that hot seat. Doesn't bother me at all. Have at it. Will Cain, as significant as you think you are, the fact of the matter is that you're just sitting up there and you're going at Max Kellerman because, you know, you're a little bit late to the party because Max Kellerman said about 8 months ago that Brady's going to fall off a cliff within the next 2 seasons, and you wait until now to make this argument. Good for you. Here's the reality of the situation. Max Kellerman is absolutely right when he talks about Aaron Rodgers as a talent being off the charts, arguably the greatest we've ever seen. However, nobody can deny the results of Tom Brady. The system that he is in, the way he can fling that football, even though he can't dance in and out of the pocket the way Aaron Rodgers can, he definitely can fling that football. He has 4 Super Bowl rings and 6 Super Bowl appearances to call for it. In the end, what it really comes down to is this, and this is where Mollywood, along with Will Cain, get exposed. In the case of Mollywood, you don't have a team in Connecticut. You say you root for the Eli and the Giants, but we all know anybody from Connecticut is looking towards Boston and Foxborough and all of that other stuff. You got exposed.
I grew up an hour out of New York City. I'm a Giants fan.
And
Tom
in the case
Brady's
of
the
Will
greatest quarterback in the league.
in the case of Will Cain, you don't count because the only reason you making that argument today is because you're so disgusted that your pathetic, sorry, no good Cowboys, with you being a pathetic Cowboy fan that you are, got sent home by Aaron Rodgers. You're bitter, you're spoiled, you're singing sour grapes and all of that other stuff. Nobody cares what you feel about Aaron Rodgers because we know why you feel that way. Because he sent your Cowboys home and you have nothing else to talk about, and that's why you're upset and you're trying to take it out on Max, which I normally would let you do.
No, you wouldn't. You've got a long and storied history.
No,
first of all,
but he's right now.
Let's correct the record. First of all, you've got a long and storied record over the last 6 months of thinking it takes 2 of you to beat me, and clearly it takes 3. 2 of you enough.
Actually, no.
You like to ignore objective metrics. You like to rely on things.
I'd annihilate you.
You've had plenty of opportunities, and maybe you're having a senior moment where you're not remembering that I have made this argument.
For me, I'm usually the one that's off. Max shows up every day.
Listen to me.
I'm usually the one that has other commitments.
I'm trying to help you about things that matter. Here are things that matter. First of all, just to correct the record, I've been on this set. I've argued with Max about Tom Brady in the past. I didn't wait 4 or 5 months to do it. I didn't need to, by the way.
Yes, you did. About that? Aaron Rodgers against Tom Brady?
About Tom Brady specifically. How is it possible that I'm on a program debating 2 guys that are acting like I'm the irrational one when I'm arguing for the quarterback that has, excuse me, Max, if your point is strong, it'll survive the next few sentences, who has 4 Super Bowl championships? How is it that I'm the irrational one?
Award. You're crediting Brady for a team award. He's a big part of that team. But the fact is, and everyone here knows it, or you're not being honest, if you put Tom Brady on the Green Bay Packers this last weekend, they 100% certainly, and everyone knows it, falls to the Dallas Cowboys. It's only because Aaron Rodgers is capable of operating on a level which Tom Brady, by his own admission, Tom Brady talks about, I watch Aaron Rodgers. He can do things I can't do.
Tom Brady couldn't have picked apart the Cowboys secondary.
No, he was not going to win that game.
No, he never could have, no.
Molly, Tom Brady is always on a team that is elite in every. Yes.
Listen, all those all-pro receivers, all the great running backs, always.
Well, how do you like their running backs?
With all due respect, you know I think you're a really smart guy, and I think you rely on statistics and analytics 90% of the time, and then guys' emotional opinions the other 10% of the time as though it's analytics. This is one of those moments. You're emotional. You're a prisoner of the moment.
Oh, but Will's never emotional.
Just a second.
Will's never emotional. Not Will Cain.
Just a second. No, I'm emotional. I admitted it last Monday. I let my emotions.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You are a prisoner of terms that cannot be pierced, that cannot be rebutted, like athletic and talent. No one here can rebut those things. All they can do is say this. Here's 4 Super Bowl rings. Here's 1.
You're turning it now into a team award, and you know very well that a quarterback, to isolate value, that's hard work, and maybe it's impossible, and maybe that's why I'm talking about look at the arm talent, look at the mobility, et cetera, et cetera. But to completely to try to isolate quarterback value and then talk about the team success again is ridiculous. He's playing for the greatest coach in history on a team that's perennially excellent. Even without him, they're excellent.
I can use your logic right back at you. If you put Aaron Rodgers on the New England Patriots,
they're better.
You think they win 4 Super Bowls?
More. They're better.
That's beyond asinine.
Because Tom Brady gets him in field goal range for the first couple, and Vinatieri.
It shows zero research or interest in who Tom Brady is, just a statistic. Read articles about who he is, why they win, who he is in practice, who he is when he's not on the field, who he is when he's not on Sundays.
Who's Matt Castle?
Matt,
because he won 11 games.
This is like you trying
Who's
to convince
Brissett
me.
and Garoppolo? They went 3-1 without Brady this year. They won 11 games with Matt Castle.
Yeah, and
Tom Brady's the greatest of all time.
Why was Aaron Rodgers so bad during that time? Those first 6 games.
Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. He has the greatest career. I'm not disputing that. He's playing for an even greater coach. If you want to try to isolate value and talk about who's better, it's clearly Aaron Rodgers.
You're just saying he's an interchangeable piece. That's all you're saying.
Not interchangeable because they're even better with him than without him.
This argument, let me tell you something. Warren Buffett is worth $68 billion. Right. This is like you trying to tell me that Elon Musk is a richer man than Warren Buffett, that he's a better investor.
No, I might say
he's a smarter businessman.
He might be smarter, sure. You could say he's smarter.
Then you would have a very hard argument to make.
That Elon Musk isn't smarter than Warren Buffett?
Yeah,
I think Warren Buffett would tell you Elon Musk is smarter than he is.
Stephen A.
Hello, I mean, can we all get involved? Who the hell is Elon Musk? You see what I'm trying to say about you guys? You see what I'm trying to say? I mean, half of us don't know who the hell Elon Musk is. We know Warren Buffett, but that second name,
he's worth
$10
most
billion.
of us might not know. That's the problem with you two. You sit up there going back and forth and stuff like that, and you forget the rest of the damn world. I don't know who that dude is. Here's what I do know.
That's your problem, not ours.
Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, okay? And because of him, the Dallas Cowboys are home. And because the Dallas Cowboys are home, Will Cain is struggling to be relevant, so he wants to sit up there and talk about and act like you can't understand the difference between somebody who is talented and somebody who has a resume. You are far too intelligent, Will Cain, to sit up there leaning back like you the Mac Daddy when you are far from it, acting like you can't tell the difference between guys that have better resumes and guys that have better talent. There are plenty of dudes who are more talented
Let me tell you
but
something.
don't have the resume.
Let me explain to you something now. It's not a search for relevance to rely on things that everyone can see, to hold up papers and rings and say, let me tell you something, this man's resume significantly, by the way, we're not talking a little bit, we're talking by a mile, significantly outrates another.
He's played twice as long.
When someone responds to me with, yeah, but this guy's more talented and he makes amazing athletic throws, I know, and people at home know, this one is over, I win. You have fallen on things that cannot be rebutted.
No.
But hey, I'm just looking for relevance.
Tom Brady,
that's all.
Tom Brady is the greatest. He has a better resume. Partly that's not only because of Belichick and where he's playing and who he's playing for. Partly it's he's played twice as long. Had a much longer career. Let's compare apples to apples when Rodgers gets to be Brady's age.
I think I made that argument the other day with Dak and Aaron, did I not?
All right.
Back in who?
Let's
Aaron
leave it
Rodgers. Yeah, but that's the wrong argument.
Who's that?
All I know is, Will, you just woke everybody up. So
recall.
thank you. Appreciate it. It's a great debate. Thank you.
I don't recall who's that.
Or Elon Musk, for that matter. There's a long list of people you don't recall or know.
All right.